Has the market changed its mind about what the Fed may do next?
We have got to get inflation behind us. I wish there were a painless way to do that. There isn't.
Think of that number, and maybe more importantly, what do you think the Fed's going to do, and therefore what your equity is going to do?
I've been saying over and over again to my colleagues here that he wants your portfolio down so that you won't be able to spend as much.
Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 19th, and I'm Christopher Crystal with Financial Stockholm. In Stockholm, we had the new government announcement yesterday. So the Moderaterna party has put together its people within the party and the coalition to lead the government. And so there's a lot of reaction because we go from a what would be considered a left to a right reigning government. And there's a lot of reaction, and this is a bit of a sea change, but anybody who's acting like this was unexpected just hasn't been paying attention to the newspapers or seen what's been happening, because we had the elections, the party had won, and they were forming the coalition, or the parties were forming the coalition. So this is not new, but some will treat it as new. We'll see changes in our energy and taxation policies. We'll see changes in our social policies. But what's getting a lot of impact right now or discussion is about immigration policy, criminal rights, and the handling of the process for those who are charged, and preserving non-criminal rights or the general rights of people within Sweden. We'll also see immigration changes, but the immigration minister is the previous minister under Reinfeldt. So I don't really anticipate a lot there, as the Swedish government wants to continue working with the EU and is in full support within this party to join NATO. So I don't really see a lot of changes coming immediately, but it's more about what will happen here in Sweden in the social network and for the economy for people. There may be some challenges to how citizenry is applied or what the support is from different government agencies to support people, but that will be more about our own internal and how we're handling our own energy crisis. And Europe is in the middle of a bit of an energy crisis, and whether or not this is going to slow our GDP, or if we can actually eke out some sort of existence and change to fuel the economy. So the markets have been up lately. And this may be just an effect of people tired of bad news and wanting to see good things and start to look more positively. There is no real change yet in any of the fundamentals. When the companies are coming out, a lot of them are talking of good results because of maybe currency or some other issues. But then they're coming out and saying things like the rest of the year will be negative. We saw when we've seen that happen many times. But before we get into that, the situation in Ukraine and Russia has not really changed. We do see some discussion about how the war is going for the Russians, maybe being perceived as negative. However, you're also seeing increased use of drones, and that's being done by the Russians, and those are coming by the Iranians. So I don't think we're really closer to a peace talk yet. However, even when we do get to a peace table discussion or resolution of the issues, you will not see an immediate relief in the energy crisis. There are steps that have to be taken that are not being taken yet. So it's still unclear to me, and still unclear why you would see the markets bouncing when you don't see the fundamentals to the economy having been added. And then with Hennes and Moritz, they had already warned about the increase in cost. And you have in the Wall Street Journal today an article discussing Italy's energy dependency, and the high cost of the energy is impacting the textile market. And it is noted in the article that Hennes and Moritz is very quick on their logistics chain and may have already switched to Turkey, or at least that's implied. Inditex may give some other light on that as well as their main competitor. But in general, we're looking at increased issues concerning the fundamentals and increased cost. On Pharmaceuticals, which make up a large part of our Swedish GDP, you do see a company in the sector, Johnson & Johnson, is going through bottom line improvement. They're removing people or lowering headcounts. We'll see if that comes to the Swedish market, that we'll see job cuts, which would be bad or negative for the overall economy, but possibly better for the pharmaceutical companies that are doing the packaging and shipping them from Sweden. And in that sector, or involved, you would see the medical devices. Some of these companies have come out maybe with better sales, but then saying the rest of the year is not going to be so good. So and then as well on the banking sector, you've had positive expectations met on some of these companies, and so we'll see how that develops. But in Stockholm right now, we've seen a positive opening to the market, and it has been slightly positive for the last few days, and we may get a slight up, but it would be a cautious move at this point, as we still don't have the fundamental improvement, and so it would really take your own valuation and an estimate and consultation with your own advisors on what to do in the market, whether you're employing a trading strategy or if you feel that everything is bottom and you're going for a long term. But that's advice you'd have to take from your own advisor and also make on your own decision and merits. So this is Financial Stockholm, wishing you a great day and good success in the market. Thank you very much.